Chief Emeka had already lost his court case. He had lost his reputation. He had lost his customers, but he still refused to believe that his own actions were responsible for his downfall. Instead, he became convinced that someone, somewhere, was protecting Chinedu. What happened next would shock the entire town, because before Chief Emeka was arrested, he made one final desperate attempt to destroy the young man he once called his apprentice. Stay until the end, because this final chapter reveals how hatred can destroy the person who carries it. After the court ruled in Chinedu's favor, his workshop became even busier than before. Every day, luxury SUVs, official government vehicles, and expensive imported cars filled his compound. Customers traveled from different parts of the country just to have him work on their vehicles. His apprentices admired him, not only because of his skills, but because he treated everyone with kindness. Whenever a young apprentice made a mistake, Chinedu corrected him patiently, instead of humiliating him. Slowly, people began saying something that spread across the town, and eventually across social media. The apprentice has become greater than the master. Videos of Chinedu's workshop went viral. Pictures of satisfied customers flooded across all social media platforms. Influential businessmen openly recommended him. Every notification on social media felt like another painful wound to Chief Emeka. He stopped sleeping peacefully. He stopped eating properly. He became consumed by anger. Instead of accepting responsibility for his mistakes, he convinced himself that Chinedu's success could only be the result of supernatural protection. One evening, a longtime friend whispered about a feared spiritual herbalist who lived deep inside a remote village. People claimed the old man could destroy anyone through powerful rituals. Desperate and blinded by hatred, Chief Emeka agreed to go. Late that night, they traveled along lonely roads until they reached a small shrine hidden inside a thick forest. Strange symbols covered the walls. Burning candles flickered in the darkness. Animal horns, clay pots, and mysterious objects surrounded the room. The air itself felt heavy. The herbalist listened quietly as Chief Emeka explained everything. The betrayal he imagined, the court case he lost, the success of his former apprentice. The old man performed several frightening rituals, chanted ancient incantations, and instructed Chief Emeka to return home, assuring him that before the next full moon, Chinedu's life would collapse. Chief Emeka left believing his revenge had finally begun. Days passed, nothing happened. Another week passed. Chinedu became even more successful. His workshop expanded. He employed more apprentices. His customers continued increasing. Chief Emeka became furious. He returned to the shrine demanding answers. The herbalist performed another round of rituals, insisting that stronger sacrifices were necessary. More money exchanged hands. More ceremonies followed. Still, nothing happened. Instead of Chinedu falling, another major transport company signed a maintenance contract with his workshop. The very week Chief Emeka expected disaster, Chinedu celebrated another business milestone. For the first time, even Chief Emeka began questioning everything. But by then, hatred had completely taken over his mind. He no longer wanted Chinedu to fail. He wanted him dead. Several weeks later, Chief Emeka secretly contacted 3 dangerous criminals from another state. Money was paid, photographs of Chinedu were handed over. His daily routine was explained in detail. The assignment was simple: eliminate him. The men arrived quietly and spent several days watching Chinedu's movements. They monitored when he opened his workshop, when he closed for the day, and the roads he normally used. Unknown to them, several nearby shop owners had already noticed unfamiliar faces lingering around the area. Feeling uneasy, one of them quietly alerted local security officers. Without raising suspicion, security personnel began monitoring the area. Then came the evening everything changed. As Chinedu finished locking his workshop and prepared to leave, the 3 men moved into position. One stepped onto the road. Another waited behind a parked vehicle. The third remained inside the getaway car. But before they could carry out their plan, security officers suddenly surrounded them from every direction. The suspects attempted to escape. One stumbled while running. Another abandoned the waiting vehicle. Within minutes, all 3 had been arrested. At first, they refused to cooperate, but investigators carefully examined phone records, traced financial transactions, and gathered evidence from multiple witnesses. The pressure became too much. One suspect confessed. Soon, the others also admitted the truth. Every one of them mentioned the same person, Chief Emeka. Police officers immediately obtained a warrant and arrived at his house early the following morning. The once respected mechanic, who had terrified apprentices for decades, stood speechless as officers informed him of the allegations. His neighbors watched in complete silence as he was escorted into a police vehicle. Within hours, the news spread across the state. The headlines shocked everyone. Popular mechanic arrested after alleged murder plot against former apprentice. The workshop that had once been the pride of the town was locked indefinitely. Customers disappeared. Former apprentices simply walked past the building without saying a word. Months later, the court found Chief Emeka guilty of criminal conspiracy and arranging the attempted murder of his former apprentice. As he was led away to begin serving his sentence, there were no loyal customers, no workers stood beside him, no friends defended him, only silence remained. Meanwhile, Chinedu continued serving his customers with honesty and humility. He never celebrated Chief Emeka's downfall. Instead, he expanded his workshop and later established a free vocational training program that gave disadvantaged young Nigerians an opportunity to learn mechanics without fear, abuse, or humiliation. The greatest lesson from this story was never about who became the richer mechanic. It was about the fact that talent without character eventually destroys itself. Hatred can consume a man until he becomes the architect of his own downfall. And sometimes, the deepest pit we dig is the one we eventually fall into ourselves. What do you think ultimately destroyed Chief Emeka? Was it jealousy, pride, greed, or his refusal to change? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this 6-part series, subscribe for more suspenseful stories inspired by timeless lessons about justice, humility, and the consequences of our choices.